The Resident Evil franchise is a fun one when you look at it. You have your goods, your bads, your hidden gem, and your fan favorite. Resident Evil 4 is a special game. There's no denying that. Hell, it's one of the games I bought multiple copies for across different consoles because I just love it that much. So going into the remake, I was curious. Could Capcom recapture that magic? Let's just give Capcom their flowers right away. Something they're incredibly good at is remixing familiar with new. Right away, we know this house even though it looks a little different, and when you think something is missing or cut from the game, it shows up, just in a different place, making things exciting for new and returning fans. There's a handful of stuff that actually is cut from the game, mainly this little fella. Otherwise, everything is here. Though I will admit, only being able to have a laser sight on 2 of the pistols and not all my weapons does make me a little sad. Characters have also been heavily improved. Ashley, Leon, Luis, they're all really well done. The big bads feel about the same, but I do miss the codec calls between Leon and them. The game also decides to play it straight. It's still a wild ride, but Leon is more serious about completing his mission.
Talk. Now.
Doesn't mean he still can't be the wisecracky Leon from before, though.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Yeah. Nighty-night. Nights.
The setting itself plays with more of a horror atmosphere, moody, dark, brooding, and a good chunk of it you're alone. Though I never found myself scared here, but I really enjoyed the added atmosphere. I'm not sure I remember the original being this hard though. First off, I jumped straight into hardcore difficulty, so maybe that's part of the reason. But I found myself multiple times without any ammo or healing. And it doesn't help that the villagers have all been working out, because they got hands. I died a lot more than I like. Luckily, the remake introduces stealth kills, which do come in clutch from time to time. On top of that, we can parry too. It's useful to an extent. Sometimes I feel like the timings are super tight, and other times just whenever you feel like it. One thing I'm not too crazy about is the gunpowder mechanic. I like the idea, but overall it wasn't something I really enjoyed. I personally would have preferred just to make things out of gunpowder itself, as opposed to using resources, but I get it. Shooting though, oh, that feels fantastic. Everything has a real good oomph to it, you know? Even your starting pistol. The story of Resident Evil 4 is just how you remembered it. There's just a lot more depth here this time around. Speaking of depth, I really appreciate the VO work done by Leon's voice actor. The same person who voiced him in the 2 remake, but just has that more veteran sound to him. It's good.
That went well.
And same with Ashley. I really enjoyed the dynamic between these two this time around. Ada, though? I don't think she's bad. It's just, look, I get what they were going for here, a more colder spy vibe as opposed to the more flirty in nature of the original. But they showed they could do that with Ada in the RE2 remake. The lines here just feel a little flat is all. But if we get separate ways as DLC, I'm sure she'll bring it back for that. Boss fights are pretty much a one-to-one, with a few exceptions. But they nailed the feeling of remembering how they used to play out. Just more modernized. I know I keep mentioning it, but I just can't help but emphasize how well Capcom does a remake. I'm going to go into a few spoilers, and if you'd rather not hear it, then skip to the time listed. Okay, all gone? So in the original, when Ashley runs away in the castle, it's because she starts coughing blood and panics, even though she's with someone who has kicked ass the entire time, and conveniently ends up against the wall with a hole made specifically for her. Huh. In the remake, there's some possession / mind control going on, which then makes her panic, as she doesn't want to hurt Leon, and decides to run away. It makes it a bit more believable. Or Luis's death. We know it's coming. In the original, he died off pretty early, and we get way more time with him here. So when he finally does die, it pulls on the heartstrings a little. On top of that, instead of Salazar doing it, it's Krauser, adding more to his and Leon's story. It's just really well done.
Long time no see, Brody.
You know, I might catch some flack for this. I love the merchant, but my god, does he like to talk. A lot.
Got some really like a deal. Why not try your hand?
There were also 2 spots in the game where I just lost it. The first one was here, and look, I'll own up to it. Maybe I played badly or something, but when I made it here, I was running on 0 ammo, barely enough to cover Ashley. For the first part, it got a little frustrating to the point where I realized I couldn't complete this part with the inventory I had, so I made adjustments. Ran back, picked up a sniper, and things went a bit more smoothly. The second situation, which ironically is like the one before, was this part here. So it's a room with 2 of the claw guys. But previous to this, I went ahead and went back to grab a few treasures. Well, I didn't know I'd run into a surprise party for me.
Surprise!
That ended up taking all my ammo. So when I came to this fight, I was at a massive disadvantage. So after being stubborn and trying a few times, I circled back and picked up a broken butterfly and I clutched it out. Okay, spoilers done. We spent a lot more time in the village, and I would argue that's some of the best parts of the original, and we spend more time with Ashley.
And do exactly as I say.
And look, if I'm being completely honest, I do wish I could make her wait outside of doors or rooms as I clear them, or have her hide. I mean, there are a few times that you can do it, but still. Running through the village in the first few chapters felt like it was 05 again. Seeing certain things play out or hearing the lines we know from before,
It's that dog.
I couldn't help but have a big smile across my face. They captured a lot of that old feeling, that warm little nostalgic feeling, like returning to your old hometown. That brings the biggest question ever though after you beat the game. Where does Capcom go next? I feel we'll probably get the next mainline game before we get another remake, and I want it as much as you guys do. And it makes sense when you think about it. Resident Evil 2 is both Leon and Claire's story. Resident Evil 4 is the continuation of Leon's story, as is Code Veronica to that of Claire. But I feel it won't be the next one. I feel they might surprise us and either go back to Resident Evil 1 or more than likely go to 5. And 5 can be a cool remake, but personally I would love for them to do a whole new spin on it, but keeping the co-op aspect of it. With that said, remake Outbreak, you cowards.
Do ba 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 do.